I'm Donald Daniels, and I am interviewing Sally Moseley, who is a licensed professional counselor in the state of Texas, here in Longview, Texas. And she is, how long have you been in practice?
I've been in private practice since 2001.
Okay.
And I've worked for agencies. I worked for Community Health Corps from 1992 until I started my practice.
Okay.
And prior to that, I worked for a psychologist in Victoria, Texas.
So looking back on your career thus far, what advice would you give someone coming into the field of counseling?
I would tell anybody that's going into this field to get all the experience they can possibly get in every area of the field, because a lot of times you go into this thinking you want to do one thing, and then when you get into it you realize that's not really your calling, and you discover that you're better suited for another area. So you really need to get a variety of experience.
Can you give an example of that?
Well, I'll give you my experience with that. I thought that I would want to work with children, abused children, underprivileged children, and I quickly realized that I was not cut out for that, because when you work with children, you're never just working with children, you're working with parents, step-parents, foster parents, CPS, schools, so it's very complicated to work with children.
Okay. What ethical issues have you encountered in your practice, and how did you manage those issues?
Well, I've been practicing a long time, so I've had a lot of time to have ethical issues come up. And some of those may be concerns about confidentiality, that working with a spouse or a child, or just, randomly neighbors showing up in the waiting room, or that, that's an issue. Boundaries is a big issue, because you do develop relationships, but there are very strict rules about the relationship, and that's become more challenging with social media. So we really have to be careful, where we draw the line.
Okay. So how is social media factored in?
Because clients want to be my friend on Facebook, and at first, when Facebook first came out, it wasn't an issue, and then it is an issue with confidentiality. Even saying happy birthday to a client, because I'm not really a friend, I'm their counselor.
Right.
So the few friends that I had accepted on Facebook, I had to unfriend, and now I have a social media policy that I don't do that.
Okay.
So, and everybody understands. It's just a boundary, and you learn as you go.
Right. So what process do you employ in making ethical decisions?
Well, again, after you've done this for a long time, you just pretty much know what's okay and what's not okay. But I still pretty often refer to our ACA ethical guidelines, the 2014 ACA guidelines, if there's a question. And it's very, very clear what's okay and what's not okay.
Well, my next question had to do with boundaries, but you've already addressed some of those. What about self-care in the field of counseling? How is that important?
Well, it's critical because the burnout is very high among counselors because we're caring professionals and we want to help everybody.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be effective as those who care for others if we don't care for ourselves.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for example, I'm taking the day off tomorrow to work on my CEUs, and I've had several people that want to come in and I've had to say no. But my instinct is to say, come on in, I can do that later. I'll do it on the weekend. And balance, knowing how many clients I can reasonably carry, know the kind of clients that I can see, and the kind of clients that I may need to refer to somebody else.
Mm.
The kind of diagnoses that I'm more qualified to treat, and the ones that may need to be sent somewhere else. It's a constant balancing act, and you know when you're out of balance because you don't feel good. You get easily tired, you're irritable, you may be depressed, then you know, okay, I need to back up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. How easy or hard is it to refer someone to another counselor or
It's very easy. When you've been practicing for a while, you build up your list of trusted colleagues, and you know who is good at what, and we like working together. There's no competition or sense of competition between colleagues.
okay.
Now I have some colleagues that love working with children, and they're very good at it. I've had colleagues that are very good at personality disorders, and not everybody is as good at working with that because you really have to have good boundaries. I personally like to work with psychiatric disorders, more major mental health issues, because I've had a lot of training in that. I no longer do couples counseling because I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. So I know people that are very good at that, so I refer out. And of course, you need to know also when you need to refer to a psychiatrist or to their primary care doctor.
Okay.
That happens quite a bit.
Wow. How do clients react to being referred?
Oh, I mean, for the most part, they're open to it because they know that they're being heard, that their concerns are being addressed, and it's just more effective when they have a team. I don't always refer out. I refer to them to bring somebody else on board to, have a support system.
Okay. How have you stayed current in the field of counseling, and how important is it to participate in professional organizations in this process?
Well, you stay current because you do CEUs, and you stay current by, in November, our Texas Counseling Association convention or conference is being held in Fort Worth, and that's a great way to network and to get your CEUs, or to just learn a new skill.
Okay. So how should I make the most out of my training as a counselor?
Well, going back to what I said earlier, get experience in every area that you possibly can, from working with children, couples, major mental illnesses, to figure out what you're called to do.
And I would know that by how I feel during those counseling sessions.
Yeah, you'll know. Eventually you'll know. It takes a while to get your confidence as a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And that just comes with experience. I would also talk to as many other professionals that have been doing this for a while and get their take on it and learn from their experience. And never be afraid to ask questions.
Okay. My last question is, what other information or advice would you give a new counselor?
Be patient with yourself, because you're not going to go out and save the world. You're going to work with one person at a time, and you're going to make a difference whether you realize it or not. And you're not Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil has a whole staff that does all his groundwork for him. You're just one person. And as I said, don't be afraid to ask questions. If you hit a stumbling block and you're just not sure what direction to go with somebody, talk to another professional and with your client's permission always. But nobody expects you to be perfect.
So do you have a colleague that you feel comfortable with sharing your information or questions with?
Oh yeah, and I've been doing this for years, and we still talk to each other and talk about what's the best approach with this person. I work in the office with a psychiatrist. We work together. He asks me questions. I ask him questions. It's just, we're here to do the best job for our client.
How do you know when you've done a good job for your client?
They don't need me anymore. There's not a typical client, but a common situation that happens is someone comes in and they come in every week for a while. And then as things get better, they may come in every other week or eventually once a month. And then we realize, we really don't have anything to work on today. So it's time for them to go. And it's usually a mutual agreement.
Well, thank you, Sally. We appreciate you agreeing to the interview, and I've gotten a lot of good advice through this interview. And I really thank you and appreciate you.
Well, it's been my pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donald.